How's everyone doing? I want to talk to you about something that's going on in the news right now. I'm sure a lot of people have heard of, but it really has me conflicted on right and wrong. It's on Daniel Hauser. He's a 13-year-old from Minnesota who has cancer. He has he has Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is 90% successfully treatable with chemotherapy. Without it, he may die. Now, at first, the family said, our religious beliefs prevent us from getting standard medical treatment. We believe in another form. And I understand that you have the right in this country to your own beliefs and your own religious followings. And the court went through and said no. The court said at first, no, he's 13. He will get chemotherapy. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to go get another x-ray. So they got the x-ray and they found the cancer was, even spread more. So he had to have the chemo. The nurse in the hospital told him, something, this is the safest thing to do. It'll get taken care of. Well, him and his mother have disappeared. There's a nationwide, if not worldwide, manhunt right now. He's on the front page of every newspaper, TV, everything going on. Well, I was really kind of torn at first when I heard the judge, when the court ordered him to get treatment, because I believe there's a reason for separation of church and state. I believe that we have a First Amendment right to our religious beliefs. We have the right to practice whatever religion we want without our government or our court system telling us what we can or cannot believe. So at first I'm like, I really have a hard time seeing this court demand that they do something. But in the second breath, I'm like, this child is going to die without this. And we've all seen parents kind of go off the deep end with the way they raise their children and loosely use the word brainwash them into believing something that isn't totally accurate. So I'm kind of on both sides of the fence because I was really kind of stuck as to what right and wrong is do we allow the court to dictate what you should or shouldn't do as far as a religious belief, or should they take away your religious belief, I should say, in order you to do something you normally wouldn't do? Now, they belong to a religion. I'm going to try to read this because I'm going to butcher it. They belong to a religion called the Nemanha or the Nemana. It is a American Indian religion based on holistic healing. I want to read a couple things because as I started reading this more, I actually pulled up the actual court documents, not just some flash in the newspaper. I have pulled up the actual court briefs. I'm going to read a couple things from them right now because after I started reading this, I got a little more concerned, and I'm actually very concerned for Daniel and his safety right now. Let me read this. This is the finding from the court. The family has a genuine and strong belief in the benefits of holistic medicine, and specifically in Nemana. Again, I'm butchering that. Nemana is based on Native American healing practices. Daniel, listen to this part close because it's imperative to the story. Daniel is deemed to be a medicine man by the Nemana and does not wish to receive any additional chemotherapy. Daniel Hauser is an extremely polite and pleasant young man. While he is 13 years of age, Daniel is unable to read. He does not know what the term elder means, although he claims to be one. He knows he is a medicine man under the Nemana teachings, but is unable to identify how he became a medicine man or what teachings he has to master to become one. He believes in the principle of do no harm and attributes his belief to Nemana teachings. Now I want to go back to the fact that he can't read. He's a 13-year-old boy. The reason they found this out is Daniel was having a hard time in the courtroom, so they pulled him into chambers in front of the judge, the attorneys, the court reporter, and his mother. The judge started asking him questions. A lot of them, they started asking him questions about him being a medicine man, and I'll get to some of that in a moment. But he went to a signed statement, and the judge said, who typed this name here? And Daniel said that he typed it. And the judge said, did you type the rest of this? And Daniel said, no, it was there already. I just typed in my name at the bottom. And he says, all right. And he said, let's go through this and read these 12 things that are on here. Well, the mother asked to stop the proceedings and asked that Daniel be taken away from out of the judge's chamber so she could talk to him privately. When she does, she says, Your Honor, we have an IEP. An IEP is an individual education plan. It's for people who have learning disabilities, and there are many of them out there. But she says, yeah, he's 13 years old, he's in the 5th grade, but he can't read. Well, he didn't even start school until after he was diagnosed with cancer. I mean, we're talking less than a year, just about a year that he's been in, and they put him in the fifth grade, yet he's not able to read. Now, I don't know if it's a true learning disability, and trust me, I understand learning disabilities. I advocate for many people with Tourette syndrome, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADD, those type of things. So I understand the disorders. But if he has those, then you really want to look at those type of things when we're making life and death decisions. Because as an adult, you can have a learning disorder and overcome it, even as a child. But sometimes as a child, if you don't understand, one of the biggest things with learning disorders is if you don't understand something, you tend to look at your parents, and if they get it, okay. Trust me, I know, I was there. Probably not, obviously not to his level. So here's a 13-year-old who doesn't know how to read, and he's told he's getting an IEP. Now, is it because he has some sort of learning disorder, or is it because he was homeschooled since he was a child and not put into a regular school until within the last year? I mean, is that right or is that wrong? Is that the reason for this? Well, all of a sudden I started looking through more of the transcripts, and I want to read you something. The judge has, this is a back and forth between judge and Daniel. Judge: okay, I've heard that you're a medicine man, Daniel. Tell me about that. Tell me about what it means. Daniel says, a medicine man? Judge says, right. Well, what do you mean? Well, that's what I need to tell you. I don't know anything about being a medicine man. Are you a medicine man? Daniel says, yes. So, okay, how did you get to be one? What does that mean? Do you have any instruction from anyone? Daniel says, no. Did they give you stuff to read? And he says, no. Well, who told you you were a medicine man? He says, my mom. And when did she tell you that? Daniel says, a while ago. Before or after you saw the doctors? Oh, well, after. Do you know what it is in Nemana that designates you or says that you're a medicine man? And he says, it means what the Nemana means. Well, maybe that's the answer to the question. I've been told you're a medicine man. You told me too. I'm trying to understand how you get to be a medicine man. And Daniel says, right. He says, but in order to do that, we have to take certain trainings. If like if you're going to be a Catholic or Lutheran. And Daniel says, yes. And the judge continues to talk a little bit more about the training. And so he says, all right, then tell me what happened. And Daniel says, well, what happened with what? Well, what happened before you became a medicine man in order for you to become one? He says, I don't know. Can you prescribe for other people? And he goes, what does that mean? Well, let's just say I take vitamins. Can you tell me what vitamins? So let's just say I wanted to talk to someone about a better vitamin therapy or better diet. Would you be able to consult with me on that? He says, yes. And then what would you tell me on that? On the diet? Right. He says, well, like what you eat, or what do you mean? So, I mean, you're listening to this, and even though I sound like an idiot saying it, you listen to this, and obviously he's not able to carry on this great conversation with the judge because he doesn't totally understand. He was just told he's a medicine man. Well, now they've disappeared. They're gone. The mother has taken them and they're gone. Without treatment, this child's going to die. Now, you really got to look at it and say, okay, no matter what God you believe in, what religion you believe in, you have the right to practice the followings of that religion. But then you got to look at somebody like Daniel, and you got to wonder, does he really understand what's going on? Does he understand he's truly going to die? Or is he just regurgitating what his mother and those in that religion have told him? That's where I'm stuck. That's where I know a lot of people are stuck. We want to see him live. But is this truly a religious belief that he believes in? Is the court right by ordering this chemotherapy? I'm kind of siding with the courts here, I got to be honest. But if Daniel dies without getting treatment, what happens to the mother? Does she get charged? Does she get charged with involuntary manslaughter? I don't even know what that's called. Or does she get charged with his death for listening to a religion instead of obeying a court order? It's really a moral dilemma. I pray for this kid, and I hope he gets the help, and I hope he lives. But it really is kind of a precedent too, because you don't want the courts in our homes telling us what we can and can't do, but you want to protect innocent children. What's right? What's wrong? Who lives? Who dies? Whose choice is it?